Welcome to Football Scientific. I'm Aaron Starter, right for last word on sports. I covered the Buffalo Bills, who won today. Whoop, whoop, beat the Jets. And I covered the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL on CFLNewsUp.com. They won on Friday. Whoop, whoop. Let's go Tiger Cats, first place in the East. What we want to do tonight is really just go over the CFL happenings this week, the games that are won and lost, the new power rankings, a couple signings that happened earlier today. There's no later today. That's in the future. So before Atlanta and Minnesota get it on in Sunday Night Football, I just want to take a moment to talk about the CFL real quick and review the happenings there and give our renewed power rankings, okay? Joining me is my guest host, Tyler the Tiger. Tyler the Tiger fired up. The Hamilton Tiger Cats won. We beat Winnipeg, and we're in first place, 8-5. Here we go. Here we grow again. We're 3 wins away from clinching a playoff spot. Maybe 2 wins away from clinching a playoff spot. It's crazy. Saskatchewan are going with 10 wins. We just need 2 more wins, and we got a playoff spot. Let's go. Let's break it down. All right, let's break it down. Here we go. So, first CFL action this weekend, Friday night. We had Winnipeg Blue Bombers travel to Hamilton. And Hamilton Tiger Cats, both teams are in mourning because of the passing of Ted Gavea, GM for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, former assistant GM of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So it's a sad event. But the game did go on. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers came out. They passed 241 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Chris Streveler came out through 2 interceptions. He is known for making some bad throws when you give him the chance. And that's what I mentioned in my pregame article. CFLNewsUp.com. Hamilton Tigers need to lay back and give him a chance to throw some picks. And he did. 2 of them. Boom. They did run for 109 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, and they had a fumble. Chris Streveler was most of those yards, 82 rushing yards. That's his thing. And I mentioned in my article they should let him run. Don't try to stop him from running because that'll open up passing game to slip back and let him throw his interceptions. You know, Brady Oliveira did come out and run for 116 rushing yards, but no touchdowns. For him, but they had no fumbles either, so that's good. They also had no quarterback sacks. Hamilton Tiger Cats came out. Mo Levi Mitchell threw for 30 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. That's a clean game. Not his best game of the year, but a clean game. Okay, they ran for 163 yards. Most of that was Greg Bell. That's very good. 137 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. They had 2 quarterback sacks. All these things are the things I mentioned Hamilton Tiger Cats needed to do to win this game. And what did they do? Boom! They beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They are now 8-5 and locked in at first place in the East Division. Okay. Next, Friday night at 10 o'clock. Later that night, we had Ottawa Red Blacks travel to the BC Lions. Ottawa trying to get it together for a playoff run in the East. BC trying to get it for a playoff run in the West. How did this game go down? Well, Dustin Crum came out for the Ottawa Red Blacks. He threw for 370 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. They did run for 58 rushing yards and had 2 touchdowns. And they ran for 92 yards overall with 2 touchdowns and 1 fumble. That 1 fumble would be costly. They had 1 quarterback sack. BC Lions had 308 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interception with Nathan York. That's a clean game for Nathan York. They did have 83 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns on the ground, and no fumbles. James Butler had 1 of those touchdowns, and Nathan York had 2 of those touchdowns. But here's the big number. The BC Lions defense had 7 quarterback sacks on Dustin Crum. That's huge. That's huge. And that negates the lack of turnovers on both sides. So BC gets to win 38-27 with a strong defensive performance. They're 6-7, and they overtake Winnipeg, in my mind, for 3rd place in the West. So now Winnipeg will be the crossover team into the East, unless Toronto can get it together. Okay, Edmonton Elks at Toronto Argonauts. A chance for one of these teams to get it together and move back into a playoff position. Edmonton Elks came out. Cody Fajardo threw for 229 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Strong effort by Cody Fajardo. They ran for 55 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 fumble. Backup quarterback scored that 1 rushing touchdown. Okay, they had 3 sacks. It's a pretty strong game by Edmonton. Toronto came out. Nick Arbuckle threw for 296 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Ouch! That is a recipe for losing a game. Nick Arbuckle also hurt his ankle. Boom! Toronto only ran for 45 rushing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Jake Dogie had to come in and lead the last drive for the Argonauts. They did get 5 quarterback sacks. Everything points to Edmonton Oilers winning this game and going to 6-7 and looking great. But guess what? Not so fast, my friend. Toronto Argonauts won 31-30 on a last-second kick again, just like they stole from the Hamilton Tiger Cats on Labor Day. So Toronto's 5-8, Edmonton's 5-8. That did not help Edmonton on their approach for a playoff spot. Now they're still in last place in the West. Okay, Montreal Alouettes on a long losing streak, facing the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who are the only CFL team that clinched a playoff spot. And honestly, Saskatchewan played like a team that already has a playoff spot. No, not spoiler alert, but spoiler alert, yo. Boom, Montreal did get a quarterback back. You know, their unfortunate quarterback, James Morgan. Will McLeod, Bethel Thompson came back, and he made a big difference. He threw for 379 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's probably one of the more clean games McLeod, Bethel Thompson's ever had in the CFL. They had 182 rushing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. Stevie Scott III came out and had a good game on the ground. They did have 1 quarterback sack. Saskatchewan Roughriders, the only team to clinch a playoff spot so far in the CFL. Trevor Harris threw for 370 passing yards, something like that. Combined, 370 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Jake Mayer came in and threw 2 interceptions. Looks like they benched Trevor Harris. They're going to play him a little bit. They're going to rest him a little bit. Play him a little bit. They still got 5 games left, guys. You can't just set your starters. They'll have no flow when they get to the playoffs. They'll lose first thing in the playoffs after the bye week. But they may not get the bye week. It's hard to tell. But right now, they firmly have the bye week in hand. They did play Jake Mayer. Jake Mayer did blow the game. They ran for 107 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 fumble. AJ Ouellette had a large part of his yards, but Tommy Stevens came in and scored a touchdown, and they had a fumble, and that cost them. They lost to Saskatchewan. No, Montreal beat Saskatchewan. What? 48-31. So Montreal's back on the winning side, and they're still, they're 2 games back from the Tiger Cats now. We got 2-game lead. We need to win 3 games, and we clinch a playoff spot, and we'll probably clinch first place in the East Division, get a bye week too. We need to hurry up and do that, Tiger Cats. Let's win these next 2 and get that done, and then we're chilling until the end of the playoffs. Okay, so Montreal is creeping up from behind. Toronto's creeping up from behind. Everyone's creeping up from behind. The Saskatchewan's in the playoffs, yo. Okay, that leads us to our CFL Week 15 Power Rankings. I haven't. So it'd be hard to put Saskatchewan at number 1 because they got destroyed by Montreal, who's been on a long losing streak, but they're also the only CFL team to clinch a playoff spot so far. So at number 1, I got Saskatchewan Roughriders at 10-3, and they're only a playoff team so far. At number 2, I got the Calgary Stampeders. They didn't play this week, and I can't see replacing them if they didn't play. And they're 8-4, so they're at number 2. Number 3, Hamilton Tiger Cats moved up to number 3. They jumped over Winnipeg, because they beat Winnipeg, so they bumped them. Okay, number 3, Hamilton Tiger Cats, first place in the East. Win 2 more games, and you are going to be in the playoffs, yo. Back to the playoffs, finally. Hamilton Tiger Cats are 8-5. It's been a couple years, been to the playoffs, yo. So it's good to get back in. Number 4, Montreal Alouettes got back on the winning side. They're 6-7. They jumped a bunch of teams, Winnipeg and BC. They're a dangerous team with McLeod, Bethel Thompson at quarterback. So and Davis Agnetta comes out. They're even more dangerous team, honestly. So number 4, Montreal Alouettes, 6-7, second place in the East. Number 5, BC Lions that crept up to 3rd place in the West. They should be coming close to overtake. They're really close to overtaking Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Winnipeg has not been playing with lots of turnovers. Winnipeg is behind them at number 6 at 6-7. As stated, they would be the crossover team to the East right now. Number 7, Toronto Argonauts are 5-8. They're trying to battle for that second playoff spot, maybe trying to get enough wins to knock off Edmonton or Winnipeg so they can't be a crossover team. Because if Toronto has a better record than Winnipeg, there won't be a crossover team. There will be no crossing over. And only the BC Lions will get into the West with the Calgary Stampeders and Saskatchewan Roughriders. And that would be a break. 5 straight years Winnipeg's been in the Grey Cup championship game, winning 2 of those. It'd be crazy for them not to make the playoffs this year. Number 7, Toronto Argonauts are 5-8, creeping up. Number 8, Edmonton Oilers are 5-8. They're disappointing. They should have beat Toronto. They should be at 6-7 right now. But somehow, some way, Toronto found a way to win, even with an injured quarterback. That's crazy. I was listening to that game on the radio on the way home from our game on Friday night, and that was a intense game. I guess it was Saturday. It's from a workout. I was running a workout Saturday on the way home, and that was an intense game. And Toronto stole it at the end, just like they stole Labor Day. So give it a little bit of flashback there. Okay, number 9, our Red Blacks are 4-9. They got smacked by the BC Lions. They're one loss away from having a losing record again. I think they're done. Yeah, I think it's over for them. So we'll see. Calgary Stampeders made a few moves. They signed American defensive lineman Brian Vaughns, and they signed American running back DJ Williams. Our Red Blacks released American quarterback Matt Morrissey, but then re-signed him to actually restructure his contract for a futures contract, which you don't see very often in the CFL, futures contract. But they did sign Matt Morrissey for future accommodations and such, and that's a rework contract. So they're planning ahead on their quarterback position, other than Drew Brown and Dustin Crum. Matt Morrissey is getting some kind of long-term commitment. So with that in mind, that is the happenings of the CFL this weekend. We'll put out the CFL Power Rankings in a minute as a short. Hope you enjoyed them. Hope you're enjoying the CFL season. We're getting down to it, guys. We got like 6 weeks left. Most teams have 5 games left. We're about to see these playoffs coming up, okay? It should be fun. After that, it's all NFL and college football. So my life gets a little simpler. That's good. All right, so remember, last word on sports. Check it out. Lots of NFL news and all sports news, but also Buffalo Bills. I covered them on there. Check that out. And CFLNewsHub.com. Check out the Hamilton Ticats articles I've been writing. Boop. Got it. And then also like the video. Boop. And we got more subscribers coming in all the time. Subscribe. Boop. And we're going to keep moving on up. Okay, we're going to keep moving on up. We're going to have a new intro added probably sometime this week on the video. I just got to figure out, I got to get some time to do it. So it's been a busy day. All right, that is Football Scientific for now. And let's close this Football Scientific portal for tonight. Boop, boop, boop.